Okay. Okay. Oops. Sorry. Actually, my mic was not on and I was not here. That's why, Carter. Thank you. All right. I had to make some coffee, so sorry. I should have held start after that. But anywho, life happens, and sometimes you just forgot stuff or forgets to do stuff. Um. All right. No sound. There is sound. Yes. There should be some. Okay. Okay. Yes, yes. So this morning I have uh, a lot of thoughts, and I'm like, okay, so should I just expel it out like in the morning and then, or should I wait? I was like, why not? Why wait? You have thoughts and no, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I feel like I only have a couple hours and I didn't do much of a good job lately, explaining things, doing things, and all that stuff about the current state of affair of the markets and all that stuff. So I thought, hey, today is the day, or I might even go a little bit further. But I do have to go around noontime though. Need to order some pizza. I still have people working at the backyard right now, so there might be some noise. But yeah, I don't think they're that noisy. They're cutting trees, they're doing a lot of things. Okay, so let me set up this real quick. But anyway, thank you so much for joining. And hopefully, you guys are doing well this week. I know it's the weekend. People should be enjoying their day and the sun right now. Not as sunny as I want it to be. Well, it's still not noon yet, so I'm sure the sun might clear up. I mean, the sky might clear up. A bit cloudy here where I live. So, but yeah, hopefully you guys are doing well. All right, so let's start here because hey, everybody's talking about Bitcoin. Everybody is expecting great things happening, right? A couple weeks ago, or even days ago, I feel like the sky was gonna fall, right? That's what they want you to believe, that the tariffs, all the turmoils, and all that stuff is going to bring cryptos to the knees. $40,000. That's again psychological, right? It happens all the time, you guys, and it's just 10 times worse when you think about the whole crypto markets, right? If Bitcoin falls down to a certain level, obviously other crypto is going to be, a lot falling a lot quicker. Okay. Those are like the small altcoins out there. But if it goes up like crazy. So again, this is how crypto works. Okay. First Bitcoin move, and then after Bitcoin, it's going to be altcoin. This is the altcoin season that I'm always looking for this, and every 4 years it seems. Now, again, the cycle might not work the same way as it used to because again, I feel like this cycle is going to be a lot more interest in the institutional. So this is going to be an institutional FOMOing into, and of course the game theory of corporates adding Bitcoin to their balance sheets and all that stuff too. So that's going to play out within this year. So next cycle might not feel feel the same way. Okay, and I'm thinking this is why again I'm so excited about GME adding Bitcoin to their balance sheets because this might be the last time where you could get Bitcoin under $100,000. I know, it sounds crazy, right, to say that that $100,000 Bitcoin is actually very, very cheap. And as long as you don't, realize that yet, of course, right now it's competing with gold as a store of value. It's still very new, right? Into the market, in the sense that you have a new asset class. It's been around. I know it's been around for more than 20 years. However, it's still that that adoption, mass adoption, has not been in its full swing yet. And I think this cycle is going to be that mass adoption cycle of Bitcoin. Okay, and crypto. I'm not talking about just Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is the main one, obviously. It will never go to zero. I don't know how people still think that. But again, they'll learn. They will learn when it's like, $1 million a coin. Then they're going to be like, oh, shit, I should have paid attention. I'm telling you, anytime at all, anyone buy into Bitcoin, they will hate to sell it after 4 years. I'm telling you, that's what I have. I mean, that's the sentiments I have right now, And so I imagine even next 4 years, if you don't buy it now, you're going to be like, oh, I wish I buy it now. Even at this price, I'm telling you. And so, because if you don't understand the dynamic, of the market, of how printing money, that's the whole point. It's like you're printing money. You're in a debt-based system here. That's the only way to get out of any financial crisis. They have to print. They have to bring liquidity into the market at any cost, okay? And so that's why, again, price stability, right? Jerome Powell always said price stability is the cornerstone of his policy, and maximum employment, right? But they will print at the expense of us all, because again, inflationary is good for them, right? It's good for price stability, quote unquote, even though there's no productivity to keep up with the money supply at all. They don't care. If you could print money into existence without any restraint, of course you're gonna do it. It's just human nature. So Bitcoin is the antidote to that. Okay. And I hope you understand, like, the idea of sound money, right? It used to be that sound money idea of like the Roman does it. Right? That's why the Roman fell, because they were devaluing their wealth of the nation. And then eventually you just, couldn't afford it. Like, you expand too big and all that stuff. And that expansion is due for a reset of some sort. So again, you're living in a very interesting time. And the fact that you know about Bitcoin, like, you don't even have to buy it, you guys. You don't have to. The fact that you know about Bitcoin right now, it's priceless already. So that when you do decide to buy Bitcoin, or at least add some crypto into your portfolio, you will be set for the next cycle, right? It might take you another cycle for you to realize that this is more valuable than you previously thought. But again, like Michael Saylor said, people will come to know Bitcoin as they need it to. Okay, so Bitcoin would just still be Bitcoin, like whatever, like the code is pristine, right? Meaning that, nobody could really edit it. Okay, so that's the whole idea, is that the sound money, the feasibility, the transferability of Bitcoin, it hits all that important key point of what money should be, right? Whether it's a currency or not, like, that's to be debated, right? Because again, it's not being used as it intended to, which is peer-to-peer, which, I mean, technically you can still transfer Bitcoin to one another. You just have to price it in dollar terms, right? So you could exchange Bitcoin offline. Let's say you have a wallet and I have a wallet, and we agree upon, okay, if you send me Bitcoin right now, I will give you this $100,000 of check. Right? You could exchange it that way too. So that way you don't have to go through Robinhood or anything like that to exchange those value. So the intention for Bitcoin is to store your value, your hard-earned money. Is that no matter how many Bitcoins you have, there will never be more Bitcoin into the system for you to be diluted. Okay. While if you have $10,000 today, okay, 10 more years, that $10,000 will not buy you the $10,000 today of value. Okay. Because it's being inflated by, the people that are in power, Federal Reserve or whatever. Not even the president could stop this, you guys. Like, think about how crazy that is. Okay, so who's controlling the world here? Not the president of the United States, right? Yes, he might, influence policy in which, yes, to, give a certain industry a leg up. Okay, yes, certain industry will do well because, the president of the United States kind of steer people into that industry, which just so happened to be crypto right now. And so if you understand that, when Obama was in power, Obama administration, what industry he gave a leg up to? Healthcare industry. Okay, healthcare. So had I known then, I would have buy healthcare stock, and you would have been doing very well, United Health or whatever, right? And the health insurance company was doing very well during Obama administration. And so again, that's why you should be following politics, and well, at least that should be my initial interest in politics, in terms of, hey, figuring out, okay, which administration is going to be good for which industry. Okay. And so that's the only extent that you should be following politic for. But it has becoming like, oh, my team is better than your team type thing. And again, this is the type of distraction that people have been kind of giving, the distraction to make people fighting each other for just stupid thing, right? Rather than fighting to seek to understand, okay, so if I repositioning myself into this industry, I'm going to do well no matter what, who's in office right now. Okay. So it's all about that reallocation of resources and all that stuff. So if you know that, then, instead of buying, those magnificent 7, you're going to buy Bitcoin. You're going to buy, gold, like a lot of store of asset type thing. But again, gold, I'm not saying like had you buy gold before, you would have been rich beyond belief. No, at least you get to stay rich. Okay, however rich you're able to attain then. So technically, yes, you be kind of flat in terms of buying power that you could accumulate, but at least you're not going behind, the wheel or whatever. I get Bitcoin, and it's being the hedge to inflation. I just love, of course. Even with GameStop, right? There's a dilution effect to it. I'm not saying that dilution is always bad. No, but there's also a risk factor that Bitcoin doesn't go through. Okay. Because again, there's no management. Okay, there's no CEO. There's no earnings report for you to go by. You only have to evaluate how many Bitcoins are out there and how many money supply, M2 money supplies there are to chase after those Bitcoin, right? And so that's the only metric that you have to go by. And to me, that's stable. That's like a no-brainer. Like I wish I had understand this. Like when I had my Bitcoin, I would never sold it. Never. Crazy, huh? 1 second. Give me 1 second. But anyway, so that's the value, and the simplicity of it is that you like I said, like consistency is the key, right? I know the volatility kind of turned people off, but that's what the news wants you to focus on. The same way when the news covering GME, the only thing that they want you to focus on is one metric: the fact that it is, declining in revenue, right? But what you should have been doing is like looking at the big picture, right? And so, yes, Bitcoin is volatile, but if you do year on year, it returns 60%. I mean, if you could stomach the drop and just add whenever possible, right? That's how, again, that's called long-term investing, right? That's called dollar cost averaging. And so it's a good strategy to have at least. But anyway, why am I going on and on about Bitcoin? Like, may not be important. But anyway, so why Bitcoin? Well, if you look at the annual meeting here, hold on, let me see. I think I played this one before, but let me play this.
And this is why Bitcoin will decouple, because Bitcoin isn't priced on earnings. And if countries are looking for something to own, you're going to want scarce reserve assets. Long gold, long Bitcoin. Easy, easy. So people don't understand what we're living through. And I'm looking on the internet and everyone's freaking out. And my message to my audience and to the Bitcoiners is just relax. You got to breathe, calm down. Understand what you own. Understand what we're living through right now. Let the stock market puke and figure itself out. And by the way, is it over? No. What are we living through right now? We're trying. Yeah, I'm literally on Wall Street having meetings with Wall Street people. This city is full of a bunch of over-levered, pompous hedge fund assholes. These guys, I mean, the stock market's down like 4%. These guys are begging and pleading and screaming for a bailout. Give me a break. Everyone wants a relief rally. We're now at the phase where everyone's like, oh, you hear that? Oh my God, Trump said that he's open to negotiations. Trump said he might walk back what he said. And no one's actually pricing in the fact that Trump means business. Whether you like it or not, Trump wants to help the poor American. Trump wants to create factory jobs. Trump wants to produce stuff here. Trump wants to fix the deficit problem. That's until I see otherwise. Trump is about business. Trump is keeping his promises. Whether you like it or not, this is not a political podcast. I'm just calling it how I see it. And you've got a bunch of over-levered people here in New York that are just losing their mind. Listen, it is what it is. And this is so bullish for Bitcoin. They're going to have to print so much money. Bitcoin is really priced with how much fiat currency is sloshing around in the world. And in order for all of this to play out and work, we have to debase our currency, we have to devalue our debt, and we have to create more fiat. It's going to send Bitcoin nuclear. And that's
not just Bitcoin, though, gold as well, or precious metal, or any commodity, like even just any commodity, even oil. I know oil kind of went down a little bit here, down to $60 a barrel, right? Something like that. Let me see. Crude oil. There we go. 63. Okay. So, I mean, demand or whatever, but again, this is baby drill type of a policy, right? That's going to kind of help with the price, gas price a little bit here. Oil but gold has been kind of on a um, on quite a bit of a rally here. There you go. And so it's gonna consolidate. I know people are gonna be like, it's just overvalued, but I mean, come on. This is a pretty sweet rally if you've been in gold for a while. Gold doesn't give you this type of gain in just a couple of days here, right? So gold typically don't move this quick, you guys. So that's why. Again, people are flying to safety, and instead of going to bonds, because people were like, well, treasury bond is not as safe. I mean, there's all kinds of things, you guys, like a lot of fear in the market. And usually that's what they are doing to their portfolio, is to move to the best one. But typically who are those people? Hedge fund, right? Because they've been enjoying so much fruits of their labor of deception for so long, and when certain things just doesn't work out, even just small slight price improvement or depreciation, they have to move certain thing to another thing. Okay, and it's about moving money, trillions of dollars here in a second, in order to to do that, what, retail arbitrage. So this is the problem of traders. Okay, and traders in those mass scales of deception. That's why you have this market just puking, right? Like he was saying, puking. Fear and uncertainty and doubt and all that stuff. It's just noise. So if you know what Bitcoin is, of course you're gonna buy it over here, right? Of course you're gonna buy it over here. Of course you're gonna buy it over here. It really doesn't matter, because over the long term, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna thank yourself right now for making this decision today. The same way with GME, the same exact playbook, you guys. I'm telling you. And now that GME is seemingly going to buy Bitcoin, right? Of course, I'm saying seemingly. I have to be careful, right? Because if they haven't bought it, right, because of what's happening with their policies or whatever, but they have to buy a certain Bitcoin. They couldn't just go buy billions of dollars just like MicroStrategy, because I guess if they are considered to be an investment vehicle, there's a certain rules and regulation that tells you how much you should have of something, right? So I think that's what the annual meeting, what is that? Keep forgetting to click on my own thing. Where is it? This one right here. Okay, the annual meeting. So yeah, we're gonna be able to, listen to this type of the annual meeting, June 12th. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. How long is that? That's about a month and a half away. It's not too bad. So very exciting, right? So now we have the date to look forward to. So let's mark that. Is this the one? Okay, that's not the earnings, right? So it's before earnings. So let's mark that right here. And it's going to be during trading hours, market hours or whatever. That's pretty exciting. So just be prepared for volatility, right? Like price movement going crazy. But this one is March 4th. So is the earnings going to be before that, or it's going to be announced during the shareholder meeting? You sold it for 10,000? Yeah, I'm sure you are beating yourself up right now, you know? I sold for 30,000, 40,000, and just a small amount at 50,000. So I'm pretty lucky, but again, I still beat myself up, for not holding it, you know? Um, but yeah, anytime you sell Bitcoin, I'm telling you, yeah, you turn out to be regretting. Well, again, if you hear long enough, obviously. But with the volatility, again, Michael Saylor say it best. Volatility is the gift to young people, right? If you could stomach the volatility of your portfolio and just keep doing it, just keep consistently adding. The same way with Jimmy right now. Same exact thing, okay? Now, I know Jimmy held a special place in my heart. Obviously, I don't know if it's going to return higher than Bitcoin, but it's going to do well. I know it's going to do well. Yes, it's going to have business alongside with it as well. So it might do much better than Bitcoin. Who knows, right? But it's going to be a long-term things. And if you're just short-term minded thinking about how this company or this stock is not giving you something, then that's why you're missing the big picture of this company. How far can they achieve? And to come this far already, you guys, come on. I feel like we're halfway there, right? And people are going to be, well, what do you mean halfway there? It's been 4 years. Yeah, I'm here for 10 years. Okay, telling you. And so when you think of it that way, then okay, yeah. I mean, any amount of time is only for accumulation only, right? Yes, there's some periods you might get lucky and it spike like this, but don't live for it. Don't live for it. It's okay. In fact, if it's not, then you have the ability to add at this low price right now. Great weekend. I'll be listening while playing. Okay. Well, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate that. That's good though. I've never played that game before. Is it a PC or PS5? Is that this? No, it's not. I'm thinking about the God of War. But yeah. Let's see. Anyway, so yes, gold's going higher, Bitcoin is going to follow, and people are freaking out. But guess what? Jimmy's still standing. Okay, so is this a leg up that we're looking for? Obviously, I've been looking for the what is it called? The April 20th, right? It hasn't come to fruition yet. So it's been a week after that. Perhaps, again, calm before the storm, right? We don't know what is going to ensue. Perhaps, Rowan Kitty is still waiting. It's still waiting on that swaps to happen and, for them to really buy in whatever they have shorted over the year. And I know the convertible bond could help them a little bit. And yes, it may help them relieve some of that pressure. But I feel like the pressure has already been built so high already that even that amount of pressure relief from the bond conversion or even issuing bonds, it's not going to be enough, to contain this. If it let if they ever let it play out, in the market, you could see a lot of dark pool orders. Same thing. You don't see it in other stocks where, the algorithm is just like there to keep the price down at every turn, And so, of course, the fairness is not here when it comes to GameStop. So unless you're waiting for that spike and know when they are, turning on that liquidity thing. Okay. So of course, this is the M2 money supply that Jack was talking about, how, it's already been here. So the money is going to chase that, right? And usually when they have money, for whatever reason, they want to do something with it. They don't just want to hold cash. And those are hedge funds, right? Hedge funds are people that are selling bonds and what are they going to do with the money? Of course, they're going to chase gold. They're going to chase commodity. They're going to chase everything else that are not, blown up yet, which could include GME as well, right? So the pivot is here. I'm sure, people are slowly realizing how valuable GME is, okay? And they're going to look into small cap company that has a potential to be a big cap, okay? And this is where we're waiting for, okay? On the institutional level. People might not understand why GME moves a certain way, right? Because of that, what is it called? Pivoting? Not pivoting. Pivoting. No, not pivoting. There's a term where you move capital around and you switch from certain industry to another, right? Switching from large cap to small cap type thing, right? To prepare for the next run. Okay, institutions do that all the time. So anyway, so when people are telling you, right, that nobody shop at GameStop and all that stuff, it's BS. Because if you look at people going to what is it, the Nintendo Switch, right? Look at that. This is April 24th, 2 days ago. Lines of people, okay, for, of course, Switch 2, right? It comes out. And so people are shopping, okay? People are going to the store. I imagine how many people are actually doing that. So.
Switch 2 brought long lines at GameStop stores today. A line formed outside the store in Wyomissing this morning. Fans had the chance to pre-order the system. The excitement surrounding.
There you go, even making news over here. And people are, I guess they sold out, right? That's crazy. But yeah, that could also be because of the Switch as well. It's not just, well, I mean, some people probably go there for Pokemon as well. So not just for Switch. But it's great to see, right? It's great to see for sure. And I'm sure, the institution out there, they're not stupid. They are seeing this and they see the transformation. They see all of the good works that is being done by leadership already. And so all you have to do right now, retail, who own GameStop, is to chill. You already accumulate enough, right? Of course, you could never have enough. If you want more, you're welcome to do that. But my point is that most of your position is already been established, okay? And so the hard work has already been done if you are a long-term investor. And, if you're still complaining about how it's not moving up in price, why is it still this? Why is it still this price? Have you not understand that this is your blessing? To be able to buy something at a low price before it explode higher? Right? I'm telling you, the sentiment that the media wants you to have shouldn't be in your psychological, awareness whatsoever. When Jim Cramer's already told you, don't buy GME, right? Just did that, and what happened? Cramer is always wrong, right? And these type of people, that's the sentiment that they want you to have on anything that they don't want you to own. I mean, imagine how many crappy things that people said about Bitcoin. until now, it's like people are like, oh, everywhere, Bitcoin, 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 right? Because they already accumulated it, right? But that's not to say that it's not going to go higher. It's just that, okay, if you want to buy it, now you have to buy it from them at a higher price than they paid for. I mean, that's the whole psychology, right? Now, when you're supposed to be selling, they're going to tell you, oh, it's going to go to 1 million. Oh, it's going to go to 2 million. Oh, it's going to go to 5 million, right? I'm not saying it won't. I'm just saying that particular point in time, it might not go to that price. And so, again, just do the opposite, right, of what people are telling you, or study the asset yourself. You don't need people to tell you how high can it go. You don't. You need to know. You need to know that because only you would be able to stomach it, right? And that's what should be happening when you are looking into investing in anything at all. Okay. So if you have to have people tell you what price point is, then don't invest in anything, right? Because you're going to be wrong most of the time because you're not following your own intuition. Okay. PC strategy game, cool. Okay, turn base. Oh, cool. Yeah. No, those type of games are fun. I used to play Empire, those old school games, but on PC too. Yeah. You make base and then try to fight other people. That's a pretty fun game. Hey KCR, what's up? What's up? We all beat ourselves up and price spike got hit. I had my finger on selling button. Of course, in the pre-hour hindsight. Of course, hindsight of it. I'm telling you, if I'd known that it's gonna come down to 20, I would have sold at 80. Yes. But of course, again, I was holding for all-time high and beyond, right? So, but also another thought of mine too is like, well, I have 30 years to wait, so why rush now? I don't need the money at the moment, right? Had I known, I would have done that anyway. But again, the problem is we don't know. I mean, what if you sell at 79 and then it just immediately goes up to double that, right? You would have also have a hindsight is always 2020. So, but you never know. Exactly. That's the whole point. So that's why, stick with your plan. I have my strategy and I'm going to stick with it. As long as, the company continue to make money, the thesis is going to be correct. As long as the leadership is still in it and is willing to build upon, their previous success, I'm still in it. It seems like, retail in gaming is going to be the future of GME, the future of GameStop as a store. We're going to continue this business model because it worked. The business model is not broken, you guys. It's just retail. You could sell anything. Okay? You could sell Switch. You could sell, Pokemon card. You could sell t-shirts, souvenir. You could sell anything. Yes, you might not make a gazillions of dollars every quarter, but you're going to make something. Okay? Is it undervalued? Is it overvalued? That's up to people, that take a look at this company. Eventually, I'm telling you, the institution will come for this company. For sure. They're not going to sit on the sideline. They have already been here, slowly, building their position. You know that. And I know it. But I hope that people who are, looking into establishing their position in GME will know it for themselves. Okay? So that's why I'm here. I feel like, I'm just here, just babbling, hopefully somebody news stumble on this on this video and at least give GameStop a chance. Okay, that's it. You know, I'm not, again, like, whether you buy it or not, it doesn't affect me at all, right? And so, because I already have my position, right? Yes, I'm biased in that sense, but please understand why. You know, why there are so many people who've been in this company for the right reason, okay, for the right reason, is still in this company, including leadership, including Roaring Kitty, including, you know, whatever, right? I don't know if Roaring Kitty already sold, but I doubt it. And so, you know, just to dismiss people like me, people like Brands, people like, you know, Cosmic just, you know, came back to say that we're crazy, that's just misleading, and also too just ignorant, right? And so eventually these people are going to be ignorant, you know, because they just, you know, look at something on the surface level and not really digging deeper. But this is precisely where the opportunity is. When people start to agree with you, the price of GameStop is not going to be this low. I'm telling you. And so while people are disagreeing with you, most of them are disagreeing with you, this is your opportunity because you know exactly what it is. And the work is already done. The work is now, the next step is just to accumulate as much as you can before it explodes. The same way with Bitcoin, same way with XRP, I'm sure, right? Anything that you believe in, but of course you have to believe in yourself, right, to pick the right one. So that's the first work that you should be doing, right, is to learn about the investment as much as you can, right? You're not perfect. Obviously, you could be wrong, but as long as you pour your heart and soul into it and learn about it and understand, you'll listen to both sides of the story, and then you could come up with your own conclusion, whether it makes sense for you to start establishing a position in something. Okay. But also, too, make sure you understand, like, okay, is this overvalued? Is this something that I want to buy now? If it dropped 50%, am I okay? You know, stuff like that. Yeah, stuff like that. Very simple, very basic. Just keep it simple. You know, you don't have to know how to, like, you know, discounted cash flow and all that BS. Okay. All of that BS, you know, it's just an additional metric to confuse you. No. All you have to know is, okay, does this company makes money? Okay. Does this company continue to make more money over time? Okay. And if they lost money, have they done anything to improve? Okay. There you go. Then those questions is same thing with your personal finance. Okay. Let's say you're drinking all the time and then you never work for a whole year, but you want to change your life around, right? Okay, so what do? The first step would be to stop drinking, right? You can't just continue to drink and then, you know, move on with your life. Of course, you know, that's going to be tough because, again, you know, a simple life step to improve. And I feel like GME as a company has been doing that, okay, because we have a good leadership that steer us the right direction, a guidance of some sort, right? And of course, this type of leadership is not for everyone. I'm telling you, because again, if you don't care about guidance and all that stuff, this is the leadership for you. Because we're not flashy. We're not flashy at all. We're just simple, you know. If we could deliver it, we'll show you. Here's the number. Invest in it or not, that's up to you. If you know how to read the number, love it, care for it, then I go, okay. Leadership is not going to tell you what he's going to do. So if you don't like that, stay away from GME, please. You know, give it to me. Ay. Okay. May 19th, largest derivative exchange is expected to launch. Okay. Of course, people have been talking about that a lot. So it's just noise to me at the moment. It's like ETF, whatever. I mean, it could be used to manipulate the price down as well. So it's not that. 7 of you haven't hit the like. Oh, thank you. Yeah, why not? Why not? What's going on with this video? Why don't you like this video right now? I mean, I woke up in the morning for you guys, so you should do this for me, huh? I mean, just a small thing. Why not? Thank you, Ricky. Appreciate you. Because I can. Thank you for sharing. Be more with me. Oh, cool. Oh, welcome. Appreciate you. Well, I'm honored to be in the elite group of 51. Thank you so much. Corner pocket, have you blah, blah, blah. Yes. Okay. Yes. I mean, for sure, of course, I mostly talk about GameStop and all that stuff, but I, sometimes throw in, once in a while, crypto was my first love. So it's always gonna, pull my heart a little bit, harder. But of course, GME came after, but that's not to say it's not important. I've grown to love GME so much, right? And I know, like, people are like, oh, don't invest, use emotion into any investments. Like, it's not about that, you guys. Well, if you don't at least have some emotion about your investment, you don't even know what's happening half of the time. Of course, as a logical person, you want to evaluate whether this investment makes sense to you or not, right? So I'm hoping that's at least the first step that anyone should have gone to. And so to say a blanket statement of like, oh, you shouldn't have any emotion on the stock itself, sure. But again, certain stock, you need some love and care in order to, like, again, to appreciate the value of it in the future. Okay. Because currently, yes, it's ugly. I'm telling you, it's it's an ugly, well, not currently, sorry. Like 3 years ago, think about it. We were losing a lot of money. Right? Think about that. And then now we're getting to the point where, okay, we're ready to soar. Right? We're ready to fly away. Even a couple of years ago, we're still building our foundation and all that stuff. So the stores closing, and still we're working on that as well. So the next couple of years is going to be about expansion, right? Okay, what else can we sell? What else can we do in this space? Slowly. You don't have to break your back. You don't have to, no. All you have to do is just, stack some cash, and maybe SAT now, right? Satoshi, Bitcoin, and then grow slowly. And that's going to snowball into something better. A lot of time when people try to deter people from investing in GME, they take this something that is like anyone should have, which is cash. Okay, they deter people from investing in GME because they have too much cash. Do you understand the stupidity of that is? It's like, this company has too much cash, so I'm not going to touch it. Really? What world am I living in? It's like, how is this not a good thing? They have too much cash? Really? Okay. All right. All right. Go ahead. Buy some company that is drowning in debt then. Okay. I'm telling you, the flipperoo of the analysis of this, Wall Street type, okay? They have poisoned, the wealth of knowledge that should have been, a cornerstone of investing, right? Again, companies should make money. I know, yes, companies should make money. From the operational, from the cash on hand, right? However, they can make money. They should make money, right? As long as their bottom line is positive, I don't care how they make their money, right? Whether it's from the operational cash or from the investment side, right? As long as they are positive, I'm okay, right? And everybody should be okay with that. But for some reason, they want you to nitpick when it comes to GameStop, right? Oh, their business is suffering, therefore it's shitty. Don't buy it. It's like, really? Am I not allowed to look at another, sector of this company that could bring more cash even than the business itself? Right? That's like saying, well, you are not your business doesn't bring any money, right? Even though you have, lots of money to make more money, you should file for bankruptcy. It's like, nah, that doesn't count as a good company. It's like, what? Can I use the cash to create interest so that I could grow my business? Can I do that in like 5 years? Can I do that consistently for 5 straight years and be successful? Of course you could be successful. Of course GME's going to be successful long term and even more much better than any other company. I'm telling you again. That's why I'm a long-term minded person when it comes to this particular company. And and if you want to establish the position in this, you have to think of it that way, you guys. I'm not saying MOAS doesn't happen, but it might take 10 years. I'm telling you. Are you okay with that? Are you okay waiting for 10 years for something that is so beautiful that you cannot miss, even within that, But anyway, I know. I'm just way too in love with this stock right now, so I'm sorry. Yeah, that's my life. That's my life. It's okay. You know what? No wonder people think that we're in a cult. Yeah. I don't help you guys this case at all. If you guys are in here, you are in a cult for sure. And so I will try my best not to get you guys too much into that, but I cannot help it. Am I in the right place? Of course. That would sound good in a collaboration. Oh, cool. Of course. Carter, make it happen. But I'm so like nervous anytime I'm talking to people, I'm very nervous. I couldn't come up with sentences. I've been like that my whole life, you guys. Hence that's why I do this live more often now. I feel like I'm a bit more comfortable kind of speaking live and kind of speaking to people. But I really think that, this type of skill I need to develop before I go on any live. Like with Carter and all that stuff. Of course, I've talked to you on chat and all that stuff, but I guarantee you, if I ever go live on your show, I'm gonna sound like a nervous wreck. My daughter said that I should have played a date. Of course. I mean, it's investing in this company require a lot of time, for sure, right? And that's what you want in an investment too, is that, or just anything that you want to get your hand into. And again, because it has to do with your with your future. Okay, so you have to be careful what you put your money, because your money is hard earned by you, and it takes you time to make those money happen, right? Or every dollar count type thing. So that dollars has to go into the right company, and not only for your future, obviously, but for the future of the the country as well. And I feel like oftentimes money goes to like shitty company all the time, and useless too, right? Going towards company that are very, I think, vampire-ish type thing, that just suck the value out of the economy. Okay, because again, the wrong leadership, right? Or wrong management. And so that's why when you give power to those type of company that you don't even know what they're doing with your money, other than, again, bonuses and spending and wasting on what? To benefit, not even to benefit shareholder at all. I mean, one example, obviously, it's going to be AMC, right? They're still spending right now, even though they're not supposed to. I'm telling you, the spending problem in this country is very, very palpable. And even in the personal life of people too. I've seen this happen again and again, where people just spend money, like not even care about, whether this is going to bring you value or not, right? And then they don't understand why they shouldn't be borrowing money to buy something that they're gonna have to pay 20% credit card. I'm talking about like 20-30% overpriced. But because they want it now, they will put it on the credit card, and they don't even care. It's like, oh, I don't care if I have to pay 20% more than that in the future. It's like, okay, so you're, again, instant gratification, right? The same way with investment. I'm telling you, investment, the same exact thing. If you could, kind of draw a correlation between your personal finances with the investment finances, people just gamble most of the time when they're, investing in something. They don't understand it. And again, this is where, you learn. And of course, I've been there too. I'm not saying that I'm a saint. Okay. That's how you learn. That's how I learn when it comes to investing. I like to learn when I lose actual money. That's when I start to wake up. It's like, okay, yeah. And so with that too, of course, comes a lot of experience to be like more mature in my way of thinking about investing. And so when people are more likely to throw money willy-nilly at just some, useless things, right, to feel better, they're more likely to do the same thing with the investment. Okay. So I just feel like if people sit down, okay, and be honest with themselves how much they're able to bring in versus how much they're spending, they'll be more happier, without things, without material things. But you would spend those money for actual experience, so that you could be with your family more. You could be with your friends more, going out more with them, and again, enjoying people companies, right? So that's how I feel like now, as a, I'm pretty mature in my thoughts of that. But I just can't understand, sometimes people are less mature than they should, even though they're a lot older than me. And so, with this generation, I feel maybe I'm an old soul in that sense, that, attracted to people wiser and more. Of course, like, it's fun to have people young and careless and all that stuff, but still, I, with the investment style that you're going to, I'm just thinking about the investment here. Why am I going through that? Like, what is this rant? Makes no sense. So let me just pull myself back. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Thank you for sharing this important information that you have experienced and that you have knowledge in. Oh, thank you. Not much, you guys. I've only lived on this earth for the last 30. Let me see. Oh my goodness, how old am I? 35 years. Yes, I'm 35. And yeah, I'm still learning, you guys. Like, I haven't experienced much in my life. So, but in the respective stock market, for sure, I've been since 2017. That's when I started to invest in stock. Before that, I was just dabbling in crypto and hold a lot of ETH, a lot of whatever. But again, I didn't hold it to today, obviously, regretting it. I would not have been here, you guys. I would have been sipping Mai Tai in some Thailand somewhere, retiring. Had I, hold everything that I bought at that time because it was so cheap, you guys. I remember seeing Bitcoin at $100. Didn't buy it. Didn't have the money to buy it until it reached 1,000. And even then, I didn't have much to invest Bitcoin at 1,000. But thankfully, I had some job there, and I kind of stashed $25 here and there, right, over time, and was able to accumulate one Bitcoin at one point, one hold one. And I was like, okay, I could do this. And so that accumulation, obviously, I sold down there where I was like, again, I make 10%, 50%, no, 10%, 20%. I was like, I thought I made it in life. Okay. Thought make it in life. I was like, score, now I'm rich. Again, so if you don't think of something in long term, right, of course you're going to miss out on the value so deeply. And that's why, again, instant gratification never give you any meaning in life. So if you have somebody in life that you don't want to let go, yeah, try your hardest to at least keep that person in your life or that investment in your life. Okay. Again, I'm just bleeding these two together for some reason, like, humans versus Bitcoin, human versus, GME. Like, you got to do that. Like, something that brings you meaning in life. You should at least foster it, at least, take care of it. And not to say that you shouldn't sell at any price. No, sell, but appreciate the fact that you've been here for a long time as well. And that Jimmy's gonna be able to give you that. Well, hopefully, right? It's all on hope here. Apparently, we don't we don't know why we invest in the GME. According to these people, we're in a cult, obviously, so we don't know anything. But yeah, reflecting back right now, obviously, that gives me this particular time to reflect. It's like, okay, if I want any meaningful investment to carry me through, the retirement age, I need to start thinking about it in the long term. Okay. Because, hey, you might not have a chance to buy GME at this price ever. So, because right now it's still new. Right now, people are still disagreeing with you, the majority of them. And if you look at the institutional ownership, right, you could see that playing out right now. And so, like I said, institution will move this stock higher, and they will be the one that FOMO in. Not you guys, because you already established your position. Okay. So let's see, what is this gonna tell you? See, institutional ownership is only 32, right? I'm telling you, some people will stay away from this type of company, okay? And it could be an algorithm too, you guys. They're programmed not to buy anything under this, okay? The minute this hits 55, 50, 60, you know, like twice as much here, algorithm's gonna be like, oh, you know, now let's buy companies that has institution ownership of 50%, right? Again, traditionally that makes people feel more stable, especially the institutional level type of, like, you know, hedge funds or a pension funds or whatever, right? And so, not to say that GME is not valuable, not at all, because we know that it is. Therefore, that's why you have to wait for institution to move the stock. But like Peter Lynch was saying, you guys, this is the type of company you want to be in, because you want to be in before the institution realize that GME is worth buying, okay? And so that's where most money is made. Most money is made not from buying, you know, companies that institution already own 60% of. Okay. Anyway, so short interest. Look at this. It used to be like 6, 7, right? Now it's back up to 11 already. Again. So yeah, they've been shorting. It could be the people that are buying bonds, right, hedging their position or whatever, and they didn't realize, oh shit, you know, this company has already been shorted to oblivion. So now they're stuck. And remember this phrase too: for every shorts, they will be long. Okay, for every people that are shorting this stock, they will be a future buyer at some point. Okay. So you need to be here long enough for that future buyer to buy at a higher price from wherever you buy it at. Okay. So it's pretty self-explanatory, you guys. Okay. Look at this. Like debt to EBITDA, debt to equity. Oh, what? How is this not a good thing? How is this not the metric that people should be investing in, or at least looking into? Huh? I mean, crazy. Look at the quick ratio. It's almost like laughable. Right? Laughable at these people. Just like, Jamie, it's bad. It's terrible. Crazy. Anyway. Look, positive cash flow. I mean, who said that we don't make money? At least free cash flow is positive. Isn't that a good thing though? Huh? No. Okay, I see. Okay, look. I mean, every metric out there gives you so much information. Right? For some reason, they want you to focus on this. Right? Where is it? Revenue. But they're down 27%. Look, they're declining, they're dying. Okay. They're not allowed to pivot. They're not allowed to at least trim some of the, you know, superfluous spending, expenditure, all of that. No, they're not allowed to even tweak that. How about the brand? How about GameStop brand? Can they revitalize it? Can they try to think of something new to sell to you? Of course they can, right? And these people, you know, these analysts, right, out there, they want you to be so antsy. They want to be like, they're not, that doesn't work. Like, just don't even look into it. Like, just know that the revenue is going to go down. It's like, okay, trust me, bro, type thing. Like, It's like there's nothing to look into GameStop. Don't look at it. Da, da, da. No, when that happens, obviously I'm running the other way. I'm like the opposite, right? The contrarian type thing. And again, this is why I gravitate towards Ryan Cohen, because he's the same exact personality here, where I feel like, okay, you don't need to show people off of what you have, what you do. I mean, it's fun sometimes to do. I do it just for fun sometimes, just boasting like I'm the greatest person. But again, just out of joking manner here. But you have to be humble sometimes. But also too, know that you are good enough to turn something around without letting people know where your plan is, right? Because you're confident that you're going to turn this around so much that people are going to believe that you're going to be able to do it by showing them the result, okay? So that's the leadership that you are getting yourself into if you buy into GameStop, right? And to me, that's important, you guys, much more important than the balance sheet itself, okay? Because, if the leadership doesn't want the success of your company, or worse, they work for the wrong group of people, instead of working for shareholder, they're working for the executive. Okay? They're working for the senior notes holder, right? Because again, corruption, right? Or just, in secrecy, okay? Because they want to bankrupt the company from within. So those type of leadership also exists too. And by the time the company realize that there are bad apples in those board of director, it might be too late for them already. Okay. And so again, that's why I feel like the structure of this company is so strong, you guys, because again, the structure of this company is that the board of director will not receive anything unless they deliver value to shareholders some way, shape, or form. If you want a skin in the game, you have to put your money where your mouth is, meaning buy some shares with your own money. You're not going to get rewarded share unless you gave shareholder this much. Then you're going to get this much. You see what I mean? So I think that that structure is really, really enticing, you guys. And it should be that way across the board when it comes to like companies that are running right now. I would wager most of the company in the S&P 500 are not like that at all. They're just there to maintain, the power and the innovation that happens. That's why, again, there's less innovation right now because there's so much power at the top. And so company, are struggling to even raise money, okay, due to the way that the structure of the markets right now. Like if companies want to raise money right now at the money offering, if it's not GME, I don't think they're going to be able to raise this much with this amount of floats. I'm telling you. With the amount of shares that are being sold, other company would have been what? Maybe less than $1 billion, perhaps? But because it's GME, right? You have a lot of demand out there. That's why we were able to raise close to $5 billion in the last 2 years? Not even in the last year. So with that alone should give people, chill, if you know how raising money, how important raising money for the company is. And the fact that people are scoffing at $6 billion cash. Like, why are you scoffing at that? It's not small thing at all. It's not a small thing. Okay. Why am I yelling? I have no idea, but they could do a lot or not do a lot, right? And imagine that, like, you have so much money that you don't even need to do anything. just collecting, okay? You know when they say like discounted cash flow? With GME, discounted cash flow doesn't exist. But there's a compounding cash flow. Why? Because the money that they raise makes more interest. And that's going to stack. That's going to, keep growing. Okay. What I would love them to do is to use that interest coming from, I know they want stability and all that stuff, but just to buy Bitcoin every single year. Like every year or every month. How about that? Every month, just consistently buying Bitcoin with it. Just to save that, store of value type of deal here. But we don't need to use the whole, the whole money to make some damage here, obviously. So any amount of Bitcoin will be appreciated by, the Bitcoin enthusiast, including me. Right? So it's better to have some than not. Okay, as a company, even individual too, obviously. So keep in mind, you guys, all the printed money also affect company as well that are trying to stay afloat while they're able to print so much money. Okay, because that affects the price of things and everything just going higher. And how can you make any profit off of that if you're not able to even keep the lights on type thing? Okay. And it becomes like that, like for every company out there, you guys. Like I'm telling you, they're losing money like crazy. They're not making money like they used to. I know Google just have their earnings, and apparently they beat their earnings. But guess what? They're gonna do with their money. They're gonna buy their stock back. That's worse, you guys. Yes, it's good for them, right? Whoever's shareholder is, but that's not gonna give shareholder much at all. Like unless you have gazillions of shares, right? You're not gonna benefit from that stock buyback. But what they're not doing though? Putting that money into the economy. That's been the problem that we have as a country. Is that these companies are allowed to buy their stock back. It used to be illegal, you guys. It used to be a form of price manipulation. That's a form of manipulation. Because you're not actually creating any value to society, to have those money. Okay, yes, I know. You're like, oh, but they create services and all that stuff. No, but those money should go to your employer or whatever. Employee. Should go to, management. And that management's gonna, again, like mid-management or whatever. But, you could say, well, if they own stock, they're gonna do well. Of course they're gonna do well with stock. But my point is that money should go to the economy, okay? Building new things, I don't know, plant some trees. Something like that. I don't know. But again, so that hoarding, behavior of the people up top is usually what kind of stifle the innovation that perhaps, okay, who can compete with, Google right now? No one. And so you have this entity that has been kind of gathering, and I don't know if it's going to become worse, you guys, but I feel like, if one company could decide the fate of your life, right? That's dangerous because they're going to become more and more and more powerful over time. And so if left unchecked, that's why there's, antitrust law, you guys. That's why, freedom is very important. But, pretty soon they could crush GameStop too, if you're not careful, right? So that's the whole thing, right? They probably are suppressing the the information about GameStop already to at least, but That's more like algorithm than anything, right? So if people don't share my video, they're not gonna see it. So my point is, company's doing well. And look at this, like it doesn't even register that the fact that they have $1.5 billion extra here. So this is going to be changing. So technically, this number here is wrong, okay? Because it doesn't take into account the extra 1.5 billion. But the debt to equity, I think would still be the same or a little bit slight different. Okay, right here. So now we have $1.5 billion debt. So understand that. I'm sure next earnings who's they? The media. Okay, they're gonna point out, oh look, Jimmy go to $1.5 billion debt. They're heavily in debt right now, right? So that's the narrative. Okay. So be in the lookout for those. I'm sure it's coming for the next earnings report. They're gonna find every single negative point, right, without telling the whole story. Okay. So if you are new to this, you better at least do your own research. And where is that $1.5 billion debt come from? And what type of debt is it? Okay. So it's very important because again, this is your life. This is your future. So of course you're gonna have to learn a lot about it. Okay. Yes, be obsessed on it. Okay. So if you have to love it, you have to love it. Of course, do it. Anyway, all right, guys. Okay, wow, 10:40. I've been babbling too much, but anyway, so Citibank, again, banks, right? They're gonna be able to do a lot of offering Bitcoin now. Of course, yes, the floodgate is coming. The floodgate is here. Understand that global money supply. Look at this craziness, right? It's not gonna follow, the exact thing, but again, it could happen, and it seems like it's gonna continue towards the end of the year. Okay. Of course, altcoin season's also going to be there too, and that's why I'm monitoring XRP as well. And we are all waiting for that leg up. Now, since GME is also a risk asset, kind of like in that category, typically when global money supplies explode like this, risk asset do much better than right. So when this type of M2 money supply explode like this, okay, typically risk asset would do well, and so GME will explode with it as well. So perhaps this is where Roy Kitty kind of like time it, time for you to cover type thing. Perhaps trying to predict, market makers' step that they should be covering at that time. But if they don't choose to, they're gonna be in the world of pain, right? And so it seems like they're gonna be in the world of pain, right? They didn't choose to cover during that time. So there you go. That's just my interpretation there. Okay, it could be wrong. Let's see. Let's see. All right, guys, I feel like I have to go. I need to order some pizza for the people that come today. So I might have like one more hour to go. Maybe half an hour. Just in case. Okay, so yeah, MicroStrategy. He adds more Bitcoin still. Let's see how much he has now. I think he said, let's see, buy the dip, keep buying. Where did it say here? He bought some more, you guys. It's like over 500,000 coins already. And it's gonna be crazy. But hold on, let me play this one right here. This gentleman probably will mention it.
It's April 26th, JLD here, and welcome to MSTR Today. In this show, we'll talk about how banks can finally support Bitcoin. I mean, this is going to change everything. We'll talk about why. Also, how the Bitcoin treasury companies are popping up out of nowhere. Not out of nowhere, but just everywhere. And guess what? That is great for strategy. That is great for MSTR. We'll talk about why. We'll also talk about MSTR getting the highest ranking it's ever achieved in the top 500 companies for the S&P 500 ranking. Also, the strategy is working. If you haven't noticed, I know most of you have noticed, but finally some others are taking notice. And then 4 epic Michael Saylor video clips you're not going to want to miss. This video, not financial advice, but please do comment below. Let me know where you're watching from. Just comment for support. Your comments mean the world. Thank you for your likes. And let's dive on in. Okay, our first post of the day is from Michael Saylor, who just wants us to know Bitcoin is faster. And look at that grin, because he knows what's coming ear to ear, baby. The Bitcoin Archive just wanted us to see this post from Michael Saylor that's banks are now free to begin supporting Bitcoin. And this is a game changer. The fact that all banks can now assist with custodying and doing other things when it comes to Bitcoin. This was the final domino that Michael Saylor said needed to happen before Bitcoin gets to $1 million. So what happens next? I think we all know. And by the way, for those concerned about how the new Bitcoin treasury companies may impact strategy, you need not be. Here's why, says Chris. 1, every new entrant increases demand for Bitcoin. Boom. 2, the more demand for Bitcoin, the higher the price of Bitcoin. 3, the higher the price of Bitcoin, the bigger the market cap of strategy. 4, the bigger the market cap of strategy, the more capital it can raise to further increase its Bitcoin holdings. First mover advantage is real. This is why I have such a disproportionate size of my investment in MSTR, because first mover advantage is real. It's so real. Saylor's 5-year head start has positioned strategy as a monopoly. The groundwork is done. Strategy has achieved escape velocity, and you can scale faster than anyone else. It's over. They can scale faster than anyone else, and it is over. And we're on that train. We are on that train, my friends. Jeff Walton says, this next period of price discovery for Bitcoin and MSTR is going to melt faces. Buckle your seatbelt. Institutional grade bewilderment is coming. Bewilderment. Michael Saylor wants us to know that we can still buy Bitcoin for less than 0.1 million. And he knows, and I know, that is a steal and a deal. And here's MSTR now ranked as the 88th largest U.S. company by market cap. That's $99 billion. This is a new ranking all-time high. MSTR has never ranked higher than 88th before, so congratulations to us. Jumped 11 companies today and 18 this week. Cigarettes in the rear view and cybersecurity in the crosshairs. Day 290 in a row of qualifying for the S&P 500 cap threshold. 6th largest publicly traded equity by volume, higher.
That's crazy. See, they're qualified to be the S&P 500, but they don't have the balance sheets for it. So they're not actually in or qualified, but in terms of market cap, yes.
Very productive week, and cheers to the weekend, y'all. Chris says, the Bitcoin rush is literally happening right before everyone's eyes, and yet 99% of the world is still completely oblivious to it. But everybody watching this video, the 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 people watching this video right now, you're not oblivious to it, and I am so excited for you. Michael Saylor wants us to know that the strategy is working. It looks pretty good with MSTR up 6% and the rest not up 6%. In fact, all of them in the red. And strategy did follow up by saying, you know what? This is a singular strategy, and it's a similar charts. The Bitcoin orange is up. Everything else, not so much. Now I've got a few great video clips of Michael Saylor that you're not going to want to miss. So let's dive on in.
You ever try to carry a gold bar through an airport?
Very heavy.
Try it next time. They won't let you through, right? In fact, if you tried to carry $100,000 of gold through an airport, not only would you not get through, but the assumption would be you're a criminal, you stole the gold, and they would just take it and keep it without a court order. Now, try to carry $100,000 of cash through the airport. You ever try that? You can put it in a bag, and as you're walking through the x-ray machine, just nonchalantly say to the officer, yeah, I'm carrying $100,000 of money onto the airplane. You won't get through. Now, not only will you not get through, they'll just take your money. They'll just take it, and the assumption will be you stole it, okay? So cash is a unit of control. Now, put $100,000 in a bank, and try to wire it to someone, or just take it out and they're going to ask you why. Tell them it's none of their business. Try to send it to someone privately, to a numbered Swiss bank account, right? See how that works. That won't work. That's a system of control. Bitcoin is the one network you can't control. Nobody can control Bitcoin. So if you're insecure about being able to own your own money, do you own it? And can you actually use it without asking somebody's permission? Then the solution is not gold, is not silver coins, is not stacks of cash. It's not money in a bank in the US. It's certainly not money in a bank in Lebanon, Argentina, anywhere in Africa. The one network that you have that gives you a decent chance of owning your own money and then being able to spend it the way you want is Bitcoin. Like if
That's crazy. If the government is going to let bank run Bitcoin, then Jimmy can be their own bank. Of course. Well, they have to file for, whatever, money license and all that stuff. So it's a lot involved to be a bank themselves. But yeah, there's always ways around it, right? SoFi does it, but SoFi is like pretty much a banking app, technology or whatever, fintech. But I think, to be a bank, there's a lot more involved in that, and a lot more risk involved in that as well, right? So I'm not quite sure if we want to do that though. Like, I think Berkshire Hathaway type of companies probably make more sense. We could buy bank stocks. We don't have to, like SoFi, for example, or with the cash that we have. So technically, again, I don't know what he's waiting for, honestly, but I truly feel like he was waiting for the crash, right? Maybe perhaps he already buy something already in this past couple of months, and ready to finalize it, right? So, or just some privately owned companies that are not even publicly available, to the market too. So those type are also a bigger opportunity than the publicly traded company ones. Because again, no one could buy it yet because it's not readily available to the public. Can you imagine if they buy Ripple, the company? Those are money transmitter already. That the problem that he was talking about in this clip here wouldn't matter, because yes, they will know who you're sending money to, but again, those are KYC. Those are more regulated in that sense. To they call it anti-money laundering type of deal here. And so they always give you that reason as to why they need to know who you're sending money to, when it should be that they should be the one that prove, like, if you're innocent, why do you need to know why I send money to who? Like, again, I'm not committing crime or anything like that, but because they're afraid of one person or a small group of people, committing crime using Bitcoin, therefore Bitcoin is a scam. It's like, that's stupid. Like, that's the dumbest thing ever, because you're not really, fostering freedom. People are free to act. Now, if you want to catch the criminal, then make the case for it. You need to be the one who, the search warrants and all that stuff is there for a reason, you guys. Unless they could prove that you're committing crime, they shouldn't be in your business at all, right? And so, but like I said, it's the worst thing that the criminal should do is to use, a Bitcoin for crime, because they could be tracked, okay? And eventually, you're gonna get caught. And so, for the government to say like, oh, you need to KYC, or whoever in control is, right? I'm sure. Yeah. To say that, oh, it's only used for a criminal, it's just a misleading point of view, so that you don't even taking a look at Bitcoin, right? That's why Ripple has been kind of like the antithesis of that, right? Well, the earlier on argument between Bitcoiners and XRP, right? XRP army and all that stuff. So XRP is designed for bankers, right? Designed to have KYC, designed to have some programmability of it. And so those are the things that kind of scary in the future, right? Because eventually they're going to know everything, including how much you spend money on what, right? So again, anything could be used against us at some point, and or it could be used, to betterment of the society. But look at the society right now. We have unlimited amount of money. Why are we still struggling? Have you ever wondered that? Because we're living in a kind of evil system, in my opinion. Because the system of control is so large. It's tough to even fathom, right? Like the whole point of inflationary too, right? Why is it has to be 2% every year? Why does it have to be inflationary every year? Well, because again, a small group of people have the ability to print money at their wish because they don't want to go under, because they've been over leveraging, because they've been, borrowing money too much to the point where they cannot pay it back. Okay, so the only solution now is to print. So, but again, when you print money, it doesn't mean that there's no consequences at all. There will be large consequences. And we're all going through it right now, through price increases and all that stuff, right? And again, the quality of life is not there anymore, okay? So Bitcoin is hoped to solve that, right? If the rest of the world understand this, right, they will buy Bitcoin. Yeah, central bank's going to buy Bitcoin too. Instead of gold, they're going to buy Bitcoin. So, and don't let them faking you out by saying that it's not valuable, that it's too expensive right now. Oh, it's too expensive. It's going to come down to whatever price, 30,000, 40,000. I don't think it's ever going to come back down there at all. So, how long do you want Jimmy share for 30 years? Boom, I'm a bank. Of course. But yeah, so share lending for sure, it's gonna be changed. Like the way that you're gonna be trading in the next 10 years, it's gonna be so different, you guys. So it's gonna be 24 hours, and if they do build those things on the XRP ledger, it's gonna be crazy because the price of XRP is gonna explode as well within 10 years time span. Because again, it's utility based, right? I'm not saying it's not valuable. It's just that it's used for different things. Bitcoin's going to be around. Yes, it's going to be used as a store of value, pristine collateral, even better than U.S. Treasury. And whoever has it, it's going to be the top 1%. And so to me, it's a no-brainer. But people might not see it now, at the moment, the value of it. Even for me, I don't even know how high Bitcoin is going to be. Yeah. I don't even know how high GME is going to be in 10 years. So I'm not going to even place the price, because 10 years ago, I didn't imagine that Bitcoin is going to be 100,000. Nobody can imagine that at all. And let alone have a sitting president now, kind of promoting it, and kind of using it as to solve the debt crisis for sure, right? He's trying to think of solution to do that. You have to give the guy credit, Okay.
I guess hello everybody. Welcome back to the channel where we talk about stuff. If you're looking for a way to secure your crypto, there's a Ledger affiliate link in the description below. I do not work for Ledger, but I am an affiliate there. Without a tinfoil hat, I actually believe that this is like one of the greatest magic tricks that we've ever seen in our entire lives. And it's this idea that, do you remember like February and March, prices were going down, trending sideways. We kept on getting like, I mean, you've seen it. We kept on getting like really optimistic news every single day. There was no shortage of it. And then at some point, a lot of people in crypto started leaving. It's understandable. Also, welcome back to everyone who left. Welcome back to the show.
Goodbye, boring. Hello,
That's crazy.
Try for $1.
Okay.
It's understandable if prices are going down, people might not be as interested, but that's part of the magic trick. It's this idea that, well, prices are going down, why should I be interested in the market? Which is usually like the exact opposite of what you should be doing, because that's when people actually become rich. You want to buy when the prices are low. You're not supposed to get re-interested when prices are a lot higher, but that's, I guess, a discussion for right now. The news we were getting was that nearly the entirety of people who were actually selling their coins was just retail. So, and I know I say the term like everyday normal people, but it's meant to be a distinction between institutions. There's really no like in between. You're either retail or you're institution. So retail tends to be the idea of like me and you. We don't have billions to throw into the market, but we might have 300 here and there to put into an investment. Retail, everyday normal people. These are the people who were leaving the market. And this news began to pick up. As I told you, I can always tell. Whenever my views begin to go down, I'm like, oh gosh, I don't have to look at the market that day because I know for a fact that prices have gone down. It's like a really funny like thing that ends up happening. Or not funny. The point basically being, these people left the market as they typically do whenever markets are going down, which is a shame because it's usually retail who needs to or wants to actually become rich, because the institutions and the rich people, they're already rich. They don't care. They're buying all the time anyway. And then we got news. This was maybe 3-4 weeks ago. There was like seller exhaustion. If you didn't see that video, we got news that like, you saw how like we were going down in price and we kind of like just stagnated and we're just typically going sideways. That was because nobody else was selling. So like all the selling was literally done by the smaller wallets all the time. And then we started getting whale news again. Well, guess what? Not only, this is crazy. Not only have rich people never stopped buying, they're now buying more than ever. What? I smacked myself. That's crazy, right? Because this is usually how it always takes place. This is an analytics firm called Nansen, Nansen. They said while smaller Ether holders have reduced their balances, whales holding between, listen to these numbers. Whales holding between 10,000 Ether and 100,000 Ether have increased their holdings by over 12% from their normal purchases in 2025. That is to say, these whale wallets always have coins going into them. There's now been an increase more than the normal number that they would have normally purchased. I also constantly have to throw this out there as well because these numbers are very important. These companies tend to look at certain metrics and they say that's what we're going to focus on for this study. So understand that if there was someone who had 10 Ether, they're still also purchasing. If someone had 384 Ether, 700 Ether, and they purchased 10, 15, 20 more, that's not included in this number. This is only for 10,000 to 100,000 Ether holdings. While everyone else sold, they reabsorbed the holdings from the people who sold off their crypto. Now, my friends, understand why this happens and why I said it's a great magic trick. Because if they are able to control prices or manipulate them or release news, wink, to make you not interested into the cryptocurrency market, and then we continuously get news days after that they've purchased all those coins, that's part of the magic trick. I had a video 4 or 5 months ago, and the main theme of it was the wealth transfer. The wealth transfer is such a big topic in crypto, and I mean like people are really drawn to it. So in the video, I made sure to like let people know what the wealth transfer actually is. The idea from a lot of people in crypto, into gold, into finance in some sort of way, is that the wealth transfer is going to be like a literal event, like, oh my gosh, the earth is shaking, like that kind of thing, where we will literally see an avalanche of money, physical money, being thrown to the other generation or to another direction, and everyone goes, wealth transfer, yeah, that was it. What the
That's so funny. No, but it's very true though. Like, the psychological, things that they're doing to the masses. It's crazy. Oh, 1 second. Give me 1 second. All right. So I need to call this person back. But anyway, let me finish my thought real quick. Okay. Okay, let me come back. But the wealth transfer thing, okay, it's well, let me talk about the psychological, point of view here, because this is happening in GME as well. While they're telling you that GME is not valuable, right? Institution has been accumulating it slowly. They're not telling you exactly why or how many institutions. They're just gonna quietly accumulate until they're ready to tell you the truth. Right now, they're lying for a reason, because they don't want you to necessarily accumulate GME, Bitcoin, whatever, right? Whatever instrument, because they don't want you to experience that wealth transfer, right? Effect of, if you move that, transferring your wealth to crypto, to GME, to whatever, right, instrument that you are in, you are not, okay? You are not going to experience that wealth transfer that he's talking about. Okay, it's not a physical, like he was saying, throwing money at at the next generation here. No, not like that. It's more like, okay, switching to a different paradigm, switching to a different industry, transferring it to the next generation in that sense. Okay, the next generation of companies as well. Okay. So GME is in that event as well. If you realize it, hopefully people realize it sooner. Okay. All right, guys. So it's 11 o'clock. Like I said, I'm gonna end it a little bit earlier than I should. I need to call this person back, so it's pretty important. Been waiting for his call. All right. So I will let you go, and appreciate you for paying attention. Of course, if you want to watch any of this video here, you could search his channel there, and have fun.